Happy Groundhog Day. Now, you won't find it on the liturgical calendar. It's not a recorded church feast. It's not in our lectionary or in lesser feasts and fasts or holy men or holy women, but Groundhog Day is actually a pretty interesting event, if only because of, well, what I perceive to be one of the great movies ever made, and that is, of course, the Bill Murray classic, Groundhog Day. If you don't know the movie, watch it today. It is funny. It's about the story of a very self-centered and self-indulgent TV weatherman who, played by Bill Murray, of course, who has to go and cover the Groundhog Festival in Punxsutawney, much to his annoyance. You see, Bill fancies himself to be a celebrity, a privileged person who shouldn't have to be bothered with the things that normal people do. And so he goes to this festival, endures what he considers to be a very miserable day, and wakes the next morning to find that it is once again Groundhog Day. Now, this is bewildering to him, especially since no one else seems to notice that they're living the same day again and again. Now, is there a parallel in COVID for us, brothers and sisters? I'll let you be the judge of that. And Bill sort of goes through that day and then goes to bed and wakes up the next day to find that it is Groundhog Day all over again. Whoa, wait a minute. This is not what he had in mind. He starts to get desperate. He has plans. He's somebody. He shouldn't be stuck in this. He doesn't want to spend his life with this small town crowd and these people who aren't his social equals. And as he passes through the same day again and again and again, he gets more and more miserable until he has a bit of a, you'll pardon the pun, epiphany, when he realizes that maybe this is a blessing rather than a curse. It dawns on him that there's no consequences now to his actions, and so he can do anything he wants. And this leads him to a very interesting and somewhat comical time of self-indulgence in any number of different ways. Nothing's too good for him, and he can treat people like the dirt that he knows that they truly are, because it doesn't matter. It is all about him. What an amazing time of his life. Except, as the story goes on, he finds to his surprise that the ability to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, isn't terribly satisfying. The blessing actually is a curse after all, and so unable to accept this new life, he becomes very self-destructive and attempts to take his life in a series of increasingly imaginative ways, and yet every morning, it doesn't matter, he wakes up in Punxsutawney and it is once again Groundhog Day. Days turn into months, and he runs out of things to do. He gets pretty bored. Again, little COVID parallel, I'll let you judge. And so, somewhat uncharacteristically for Bill, he embarks upon a process of self-improvement. He learns to play the piano, he reads poetry, he learns to speak French. And without really being conscious of it, he begins to soften just a little bit. He finds himself talking to people and really listening to what they have to say. He takes the time to get to know them, to learn their hopes and their dreams, and without even realizing it, he becomes a friend. As this continues, he finds himself actually caring for other people and helping them. For the first time in his life, he's doing things without first thinking about what's in it for him. But it doesn't even stop there. This is why this is an amazing movie. He finds that helping others, it makes him feel good. He finds fulfillment in helping, not for the gratitude they feel or for the recognition that he gets, but simply for the joy of it. He's gone from arrogant to humble, from self-aggrandizing to self-deprecating. And it's only after he has made this enormous transformation that he wakes to find that it is now the day after Groundhog Day. Life starts again for him, but He's been fundamentally changed by the experience, and he's no longer the man that he was. I think there's a parallel to what St. Paul says to the church in Corinth. Love is patient, love is kind. Love isn't envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. Now, this passage is a favorite for weddings, to be sure, but it really wasn't written about romantic love at all. No, it's instead about our love for one another. Paul's speaking to a church that's in conflict, where members are putting their own wants and desires above the needs of the body. When people love themselves more than they love each other. Paul's message then is a guide for how they, and ultimately how we, are to live in relationship to each other. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Well, Bill Murray learned that in Groundhog Day. At the start, Bill loves himself and only himself, and he's quite secure in the knowledge that he is special and entitled to have the world revolve around him, that he's better than everybody else. It's only when he had learned to love others, not for what it would get him, but simply because others are worth loving, that was when he was ready to move on to the next chapter in his life, having been fundamentally changed by that experience of love. Our brothers and sisters, in this strange COVID time on Groundhog Day, may we too be changed by the experience of love. A love so deep and broad that it is beyond our wildest imagination. The love God has for us and the love that we share for one another. God bless you. Amen.